Hey guys, we're looking at Open Photoshop here. I'm going to give you a tutorial to get you started on your assignment number 2 for me, and as well as part of your assignment for Grace. Creating a document from scratch, a brand new page. We've gone over this before, but I'm doing this for those of you who missed class. So you've got Photoshop open, you're going to do File, New, or you're going to do Control or Command N. Which will give you your new document dialog box. Make sure that it says inches over here. Choose 20 wide by 10 at 300 dpi. RGB color is fine and white background is fine. This is going to give you a brand new document, blank, with a white background in RGB color mode, 20 inches wide by 10 inches tall or high. Hit OK, and there's your new document. Now, if you remember in class, or if you weren't there, that's why you're watching this, if you press Control or Command R, you get your rulers at the top. They show up. You'll see I'll make them disappear again. Command R, they appear, or it disappears. Command R, it comes back. These rulers are where you can drag out guidelines. So, from the left side, bring one out to the 10-inch mark. You see there's the 10-inch mark at the top, and that marks the center of your document. So now this is the left-hand side and this is the right-hand side. And this is going to represent sort of like a 2-page magazine spread type of ad. Also, you're going to grab guidelines. It's just a general unwritten rule that 0.25 inches all the way around the edge of a document is what's called a bleed zone. And that's where most places that print are going to print, and they're going to cut off 0.25 around the edges. So this is just a guide to show you where important information should not go. So just this little space right here, this 0.25 inches right here. Nothing can go over that. No text, no important part of an image. Okay. So you've got a brand new document. It's not saved, still called untitled because I didn't name it when I said Command New. You've got this brand new document that's 20 inches wide by 10 inches tall. So now what you want to do is from your Ice Wine Festival, I'm going to use these images as an example, but from your Ice Wine Festival, you're going to choose your 10 best images that show off the Ice Wine Festival. Now in your assignment from Grace, you were asked to take detail shots, which I've got a couple here. That's a detail shot, that's a detail shot, and that's a detail shot. Just tight in stuff that shows, it might be ice sculptures, it might be wine, it might be grapes, it might be any number of close-up detail shots. I believe you were also asked to shoot just general shots, entertainment, guest speakers, things like that. So you'll grab 10 of those shots that are all those varieties that you were asked to use. And if you've got a fairly fast computer, you can just, this is Bridge that I have open, by the way, with the folders tab showing, and the folder that my images are in, which is just a folder I put on the desktop called Demo. And I've dropped these images in there just for display purposes here, just to get through this sort of demonstration. So you've got Bridge open, and if you've got a fairly fast computer, you can just click off anywhere where it's black and do a Control or Command A, which is select all, and you can open up all 10 images at the same time. Drag them into Photoshop and let them all open. And so these are the 10 images that you're going to use. Your untitled document is over here still, and this should all look the same on a Mac. I'm on a PC, but this should all look exactly the same on a Mac. So you'll go to your first image and you'll grab your selection tool, your marquee, your square marquee selection tool, unless you want to grab the whole image. If you want to grab the whole image, then you'll just do Command A and select it all. You'll see your marching ants around the entire image. Command D to deselect. So you've got your square marquee selection tool. I'm going to grab just this banner, and that's it. And I'm going to do Command C, or you can say Edit, Copy, which is the long route to get there. Command C. I'm going to press Command C to copy. I'm going to go over to my new document and press Command V as in Victor to paste it. I'm going to go over to my next document, and I think I'd like to grab, I'm going to exclude my watermark there. So actually no, I'm just going to grab it all. Pretend my watermark's not on there. It wouldn't be if you were designing something like this. I'm just grabbing these images because I use them on the internet, so they've got my watermark on them. So I'm going to do a Command A on this one. I want the whole image. Command C, and then go to your new document and Command V for paste. Now you'll see the layers are appearing as you're pasting. And the next layer, or I'm sorry, the next image, image number 3, I'm going to grab just the girl. I'm going to press Command C, go to my document, press Command V. Over to the next one, make a selection of just her. Actually, I think I might make a tighter selection of just her upper body. Command C, go to the next document, Command V. And you're going to go to the next one. I'm going to grab maybe a long skinny selection of this one. Maybe like that. Command C, go to your new document, Command V. This guy, I'm going to grab all of him. And Command C, go to the new document, Command V. You can see all my layers are starting to appear now. Every time I paste, a new layer is formed. I'm going to do Command All because I want that whole image. Command C, new document, Command V. And this girl, I'm going to grab a perfectly square selection of just the upper part of her body. So I'm still on my square selection tool. And remember, I told you guys, when you're making a selection, it'll do like anything you draw, but if you press Shift, you can see that it constrains it to a perfect square. So now you can make the square however big you want. I'll go right about there. Once I let go of both the Shift and my mouse, I can move that square around and choose what I want. So I'm just going to center her a bit more. Command C, go to your new document and Command V. And the very last image, I'd like also to grab a perfectly square selection. So I'm going to hold down Shift and just draw, and it makes a perfect square because I'm holding down Shift. It constrains it to a square. Command C, go to the new document, and Command V. Now you can go and close all your photos that you're using in the project. Hit no because you're not going to save any of them. Nope, don't want to save it. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, and nope. Alright, so now all 10 of your images that you've chosen are pasted on this document. Now what you're going to do is be on your Move tool, and you're going to arrange them now, however you think you want to arrange them. If you want to shut all of these layers off and just work with one photo at a time, I think I'm going to go to that banner that I pasted and turn that on. And I think I'd like that over here. Now, watch this F down here on the word Fitness Star, because I've chosen this banner to show the whole banner and show that it says Fitness Star and the whole 9 yards, so I want that to show. So I don't want that to get too close to that line, that guideline. That's why we put the guidelines there, because it's important that any important information in the image stays away from the guidelines. As a general rule, it's good to have, let me zoom in on this actually, about 0.25 inches from important information to that guideline, and you'll see it's roughly about the same on the bottom. You can eyeball this, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you've got a fairly decent, this is just sort of an unwritten rule for design. Just keep important information 0.25 from the edge, and from your guideline, not the actual edge of the image, or the edge of the canvas. This is your safe zone, where if this was to go to print and the printers might cut off a portion of this 0.25 space between your guide and the edge of your document, your important information is yet another 0.25 inches away from that line. So it's going to be okay, and it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Nothing's going to get cut off. I'm going to do it Command T and just make this a little bit bigger. Hit Enter when I'm happy with it. And then I think I might take this Marquee Tool here and just get rid of the edge of that banner where it goes off into the black background, and I'm going to do a Command X to get rid of it. I probably could have straightened that out a little bit better, but I'm just going to go through this real quick. Turn on your next layer. This one's kind of a tall, this is the whole image, so I'm just going to make that about that size for now, and we'll have a look at what else we got. Got a long skinny one. I might make that one about that big. I'll go to the next one. That's not really square, but it's kind of, I'll make it the same size as the one next to it. Go to the next one. It's a long skinny one. Maybe I'll put that underneath these two. Command T, Make sure you're holding down Shift when you're transforming, because if you don't, what happens is you can skew it and make it all kind of screwy. So I'll undo that. So when I press Command T and I get my bounding box to transform it, I'm going to hold Shift at the same time to make sure it constrains the proportion, to make sure that the image doesn't skew in a funny way. Make it line up here and make it line up over here, and then you can manually move them around to make sure that they line up good. This doesn't, so I'm gonna squish it down. This is against the rules, but I'm doing it anyway. Bring it over. Now, you've got a space here and here, right there, this space here. When you're butting images up against each other, if you're not going to put them directly against each other like this, like that, then you should try to make all of the spaces the same. So this space here should be the same as this space here. So there we go. We got it even on the bottom and even here. So you've got a decent collection of images there. This looks like it's a little bit longer than that one. So instead of trying to shrink it, what I'm going to do, because I've already got it lined up, I'm going to just grab my selection marquee, go on my move tool, click on that image. By the way, make sure auto select is on up here in order for you to click around on the images and make them active. So I'm on the bottom image, and I'm on my go back on my marquee selection tool and Command X to cut, and then you can turn on the next layer. Again, Command T, hold down Shift to make sure you constrain the proportion. You can drag these all out any old way that you want. Command T again, hold down Shift, make sure that they all line up. By the way, under View, we've gone over this before. Under View, you've got Snap. Snap is clicked on. This is what makes your images snap to one another. So, as you can see, if I pull this image away and I go to bring it back over towards the image, it's going to sort of snap to there. It kind of the computer knows where to snap it to. But if you turn that off, if you wanted to move something around with much smaller increments, you can go to View and turn Snap off, and then you can move it in really small increments. Otherwise, it's going to snap to a guideline, or it's going to snap to the next image. So I'm going to grab these two and move them down a little bit so the space is the same, like I was talking about over here. And I got two more images to work with here. I'm going to move this little guy over here, Command T, and make it a little bit smaller so it fits on the page. And I've got one more here that's also square. Did I turn Snap off or on? Oh, let's turn it back on. I like it on. Command T, and I'll make it the same image as the square one I dropped up on top. And we'll make them fit, and we'll make all the spaces the same. Now, what I just did there to move both of those images at the same time was, if you look at the layers palette right now, I'll click on the blank part of the document. If you look at the layers palette, nothing is lit up. Because I have auto select on, if I click on this image up here, you'll see that image lights up. That's how you can identify what layer you're on, because as soon as you click on it, it lights up over here. So what you can do is grab one, hold down Shift, and grab any other ones. Now you can see all these are all lighting up now? That means I've got a hold of all of them. So I want to grab this one. If I want to move these two at the same time, I click on that one, hold down Shift, and click on that one. Now both of those layers are lit, and when I click once and hold, I can move them together at the same time. Now I'm going to move them about the same amount of space. And then this one here, I've got very uneven amount of space down here. So I'm going to do the same thing I just explained. Click that one, hold down Shift, click this one and this one, and then I can move them where I want. And now if I can't seem to get the space up here the same as it is down here, I can just, while these are all selected, press Command T, and you can see the bounding boxes popped up for all of those. Now when I hold Shift to constrain the proportion and make them smaller or bigger, it's affecting all three of them, because you can see it's all lit up over here on the other side. So I'm just going to move that. I'm hitting the arrow keys right now to move it by really small increments instead of using my mouse. I'm just going to move it down a little bit. I'm kind of eyeballing this. Yes, I want to apply that. And now all of these, I want to move down and center on this page. So what I'm going to do is click that one, hold down Shift, click that one, that one, that one, and that one. Now they're all lit up and I can grab them all and move them wherever I want them. And that's it. So that's how you lay them all out. And if you wanted to, you could, if this was, let's say you dropped this in as a horizontal image like that, and you wanted to use this as a background image, stretch it to the size of the entire 2 pages till you're happy with where it's sort of laid out. Then you grab it and drag it to the very, very bottom so it's underneath all of the images. And now you're kind of got an image that's a background image, which is kind of cool. And then of course you can go up here and turn the opacity of that image down so it's sort of a faded image in the background if you wanted to do that. Then you can put these guys up here. The sky's the limit with design, guys. You can lay this stuff out any old way you want. I'm going to click that one, this one, and this one, and move them all up. Oops, I didn't grab those two. 1, 2. There we go. Move them up. Maybe actually I think I'm going to put this one over here because I'm just thinking about the text that we have to put in. Move this one over here maybe. Move these 2 over here. And now I believe for a portion of your assignment with Grace, which will also be part of this assignment, is to include text. So say you're happy with all where your images are all laid out now. If you want to add text, you just click on your text tool, and there's 2 ways to do this. You can just click anywhere. You see it's created over here a new text layer, and you can just start typing. That'll go like beyond the picture if you don't hit enter and all that jazz. So that's one way of doing it if you want to watch where it's going. I'm going to delete that. Or you can grab your text tool and you can start around the corner of the bottom of the image and draw a box. Try to end it at the end of this side of the image. So you're starting by this guy and you're ending over by this guy. Now you've got this. I'll zoom in, hopefully you can see it. Actually, I'm going to turn this layer off in the background so you can see it even better. So you draw this text box, and now when you're typing, everything is staying within that box. La 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 la. And when you're done, you can click anywhere inside. Well, if you double click, you'll select it all. Or you can click once and just do Command A, because Command A works for everything, which is select all. And then up here, you can change the font style. So you could change it to some kind of funky, ooh, that's terrible. Change it to some kind of font that you like. Something legible for a layout for an ad is good, like Arial or Century Gothic or something like that. Here you can change the size. But you generally in most magazines and stuff like that, it's around 12 point. 12 point text is about normal size for most books and magazines. I'm going to do Command A. So these are some basics things. This is left justified, centered, or right justified. Most stuff reads left to right, and most stuff is left justified. What else could I say here? Oh, you could also say window, show character, and then over here you've got more options for your text. You can make the space between the letters bigger, or you can leave that at 100%. You can space out the space, it's called leading, the space between the top line and the next line and the next line. You can see it moves up and down. It makes the space between that smaller or larger. It does allow you to let out. You don't want drop letters to interfere with the next line, so be careful with that. I usually like to keep it 2 point sizes larger than the actual text font itself. So the font is 12, and the spacing between the font is 14. I find that quite legible, and it keeps the lines fairly close, so you can fit a little more text in there if you want. And that's it. So you would repeat that. You could say something about this is the Niagara Ice Wine Festival. Here's some examples of whatever. And then if you're over on your layers palette, oh, that was an accidental text layer, I'll get rid of that. So you've got this text layer now. If you're clicked on it and it's highlighted over here, if you do a Command J, it makes a copy of that layer, and all you have to do is grab it and bring it under here. Grab your text tool, click inside, and then once you're clicked inside, if it's a box, you can actually change the size of the box to fit that image that it's under. And then click once, do Command A, and change the text inside. This chick is very fit. Alright. You might want to center that. If that's all you're going to do is one line of text, just make sure you center everything. Do it after you've done the typing so you know how much text is going to be there. And again, if you click on any one of these bits of text and press Command J, it just made another copy. So I can grab that one and I can move it, say, over here. Grab my text tool. Click once to activate it all. I'm going to bring the box down, make it, maybe there might be a whole lot of text. Maybe you might want to put, oh, give me arrows. You might want to make a whole lot of text under this one. Maybe it's, sorry, my keyboard is loud, guys. Maybe if I just hold it down. There, that's better. It's not so loud. And there you go. You got a nice big old box full of text down there. And that's it. So this is how you do the basic design, the basic layout. Choose where you want your pictures. Choose the text you want to put in there. If you want a headline, you could say, this was a great show! Exclamation point. Select it all. So either double click the line of text or click once and do a Command A. Make the text bigger maybe. And you could change the color down here. Maybe I might want to make it red. There, it's red. So you know it's red up here. Until it's unhighlighted or not highlighted or deselected, you won't see the color. So right now it's red. And maybe I want to make it some kind of, I don't know, funky bold font. And I want to make the font a bit bigger. Maybe I like the size of that font. I'll go over to character and decrease the spacing a little bit so it's squished, but it's still fairly big font. Just be careful you don't swish it too much. That kind of thing. So this could say, I don't know, Niagara Ice Wine Festival or whatever. And that's it. That's all that's to it, guys. And then when you're done, if you're in the process of this whole job and you get called away from your computer or you can't finish it, just do a file save as. Make sure the save as window looks different on a PC than it does on a Mac. But you get that extra little window on the Mac. Turn it down so you can get all the save options. Give it a name. Call it collage. Make sure you choose PSD. Choose where you want to save it. I'm just going to stick it on the desktop for now. I'll stick it in here actually. And hit save. And so what happens now, if I close that and I do File, Open Recent, Collage, all your layers are intact and everything you can, if you got called away from your computer for dinner or doing whatever, you had to go out or deal with something, you can come back to it. It's a layered PSD file and all your work is still there. Okay? So I want this handed in to me as a layered PSD so I can see all your PSD or all your layers in your PSD, and then I also want a flattened JPEG of this. So you're going to do File Save As. You're going to choose JPEG as the file extension because I want a flattened JPEG. It'll already be called collage if you already saved it as a PSD. Hit save. Say OK, and then you'll see if I go to that folder on my desktop now, under demo, I've got a collage there, .jpeg, that's the flattened JPEG, and the PSD is right there. It doesn't show me a preview of the PSD in my file browser, but that's the PSD. So there's your flattened JPEG, and that's what you're going to hand in to me as well as the PSD. Alright, so I hope that's helped you. And hopefully, if you weren't in class last week, this is what you missed. So give it a whirl, and I hope you guys come up with something really cool. Alrighty? Thank you very kindly for watching, and ciao for now.